Welcome back to The Goodness Habit, where joy is a muscle and we're learning how to flex it. I'm your host, Hannah, and I'm so glad you're here. So last week, we talked about that simple but powerful question that helps reel your brain back in when it starts telling you something that feels true but isn't true. Especially important when an emotional response to a situation actually starts feeling like facts. I have that episode linked in the show notes or on your podcast app. Just go back to last week's ep. So that's a good strategy when you actually have time to pause, step back, and assess what's going on. But let's be honest, there are lots of moments in motherhood where you really don't have the space to do that. A situation is unfolding right before your very eyes. You're in it. Your kid is melting down. You're trying to get dinner on the table and siblings are fighting and yelling at each other. You're overwhelmed, overstimulated, and your patience is gone, and you can feel it building. It's that moment where you're thinking, I am about to lose it. And it's not always an actual problem that's happening. You might just be overstimulated and tired. So today, I want to talk about a 5-second reset that'll help bring you down right before you lose it, so that you don't lose it. So when you're in that near breaking point moment, intentionally and swiftly change your focus to something else. And use one of the 5 senses to ground you. Something that is tied to your senses. Something different that your eyes can process, something different that your ears hear, taking a big inhale through the nose and noticing the smells. Eat something and really focus on the taste. Go touch grass. Every week, my daughter has chorus practice before school starts, so that means one day a week, we have a particularly early morning. I have 3 kids, so not only do I have to get her ready, but I also have 2 boys that are younger than her. Now, they're very independent. They can, for the most part, get ready themselves, but obviously I still have to help them, pick out weather-appropriate clothes, brush their teeth, get breakfast going, and all of that. So on this particular morning, we were running late. And the thing about chorus is if you're not there on time, like if you are even 1 minute late, you do not get to go to chorus that day. The teacher has sent out multiple notes saying, hey, if you're late, just don't even come, go back home. And it's not because they're trying to be mean, it's because the school is not technically open yet. So on this morning, so many things were going wrong. All the kids were having tantrums. I had a terrible night of sleep, so I was completely exhausted. And I remember as the minutes were ticking towards the time we all had to get in the car and go, my heart rate was elevated and I could feel the stress piling on. It was a particularly beautiful sunny day, and I remember walking out of the house, and I could feel the sun on my skin, and it was so warm, and I just funneled all of my energy, all of my brain power on that warm feeling. And I stood there for maybe just 2 to 3 seconds, soaking it in, and I could feel the tension of my body go down. And the kids came out of the house, and I said, hey guys, feel that sun. Verbalizing the experience and bringing my kids into it also did wonders to bring down my level of stress. And then it was back to go, go, go. We got to make it to chorus. So the stressor, so to speak, was still there, but I was in a much calmer state of mind to tackle it. Here's the brain science behind why shifting focus actually works. In 2017, a group of brain scientists studied the effects of distraction versus suppression of emotions during high negative emotion situations. I'll have a link in the show notes to the full study, but essentially, they showed a group of 16 participants some very upsetting images, and then told them to do one of 3 things. One group was just asked to look at it. A second group was asked to do a math equation, and the third group was asked to hide their feelings. And the scientists measured each group's LPP, which stands for late positive potential. That's essentially a brain signal that shows how strongly your brain is reacting emotionally to something. It's kind of like a volume meter for your emotions in the brain. Now, don't get confused by the word positive in there. Late positive potential doesn't mean it's just measuring the positive emotions. It's measuring any emotion. Positive basically means upward. So if you're looking at a brain scan, that upward curve, that would be considered positive. So not necessarily good, it just means that there's strong emotions happening. So if there is high LPP, that means there's strong emotional reaction, your brain is putting a lot of attention and focus on something. Low LPP means that there's weak emotional reactions, less attention, your brain is letting go of what it's locked into. So in this study, the scientists saw that distraction actually lowers the LPP more immediately than suppression. Think of LPP as like a spotlight. The LPP is how bright that spotlight is on something emotionally. So if it's a scary image, if you're in a stressful situation, it's going to be very bright, high LPP. If you distract yourself, that light is going to dim very quickly. You've moved the spotlight to something else. If you suppress the emotion and you're just trying to put on a happy face even though inside you're boiling inside, that spotlight is still going to be really bright. You're just hiding it. And if you suppress enough times, eventually you will explode. Think of like the hay that broke the camel's back. Wait, is it hay or is it straw? Is it the straw that broke the camel's back? I don't know. I'm really terrible at remembering those sayings, but you know what I mean. Think of the distraction strategy as proactive and the suppression strategy as reactive. When you start to feel that stress coming on and your body's activities start changing, like you can feel your body temperature start to rise, changing your focus to something else interrupts that emotional processing early on in the brain before the amygdala, so that threat detector in your brain, fully activates. Think of that volume meter again. It's like starting to rise and then you cut it off. Suppression, on the other hand, tries to control the emotions after they're already fully powered. And you know how hard that can be. So the next time you feel your insides start to rumble and it's about to turn into a boil, change your focus. Distract yourself. Give your full attention to something else just for a few seconds. Could be the warmth of the sun, the taste of your coffee, birds twittering outside, a Bible verse, a piece of art, just something totally different from the situation at hand. Remember in the study, it was a math equation. Bring your nervous system down and then continue on your way. If you're enjoying the Goodness Habit podcast, I'd love it if you'd rate the show wherever you're listening. Thanks so much, my friend, and don't ever forget, not every day is good, but there is good in every day.